it's not that you push back on doing it at all. But
A couple times he asked, "Do we have to have snow?"
Does it just be chilly? Oh my God, it's a chill.
What do you think of our little town? It's charming.
oh,
So you guys just had your panel.
we did.
Yes.
How was the energy in the
Good
room?
for a Sunday morning. It's damn good.
Right?
Surprisingly good.
You know why I think that is? Because we as a people, I'll speak for everyone, love watching you beat the shit out of people.
Oh, good.
We
good.
love it.
All right.
How wild is that? Did you ever see that coming?
No, I didn't. No, I really,
How could
truly
you?
didn't think of it until I thought of it. Like, no, my whole life never had that notion until one day I'm riding a bike in Albuquerque and I'm like, got this screen grab of a Better Call Saul advertisement in China, and I'm like, God, they're watching me in China. Wow, what movie could I make that could play around the world? Well, action, Also, my age, I'm older when I tried to do this, and for some reason, people allow people to be action stars when they're older. They're like okay with it, and so. Then I called Marc, and we carried on talking, and a lot of work and effort and discovery went into finding Derek Kolstad, who was able to see the vision somehow of me being a lead in an action film, and here we
You got
are.
versatility, Bob Odenkirk.
3 films later. Well, also I was willing to train, and I had spent most of my life as a comedy writer, so I didn't use my body.
Same.
So I was not, my brother Steve loves soccer, played soccer his whole life, and when he turned 50, had to quit doing most things because he f***ed up his knees and his back, and I had not done that.
You were untouched.
You
were like the virgin
untouched.
snow.
It's right. And I just did kind of some cardio and realized I can, I still have my joints. And so we went to work training. So Daniel Bernhardt trained me, and here's where we got to.
And I don't not to read too much into it, but why not? Since you guys are trapped here with me for 10 minutes, everybody's living longer. Yeah. We are finding new ways to be vibrant, to have a better quality of life, and I think that makes sense.
Yeah, but people have always allowed this, right? I mean, you guys know action films.
Oh yeah. I mean, you go back to some of the really old ones, and you're just kind of like, John Wayne walks in the room and like, no one should be intimidated by that man right now, or again, my favorite is like as Steven Seagal. You'll see some of his fights, and he walks in a room and he sits down in a chair, and you're like, oh, I'm pretty sure that wasn't in the script, and he just,
Yep.
And to actually have someone willing to do the training, like Bob, like Keanu, you as an audience member, you're automatically bought in because you're like, dude, they're doing it. They'll be the first to say and give praise and the relationship with the stunt guys, right? But it's for the most part, it's them, man.
Yeah, and it takes presence as well. And so when you're talking about folks like sitting in chairs, it's Steven Seagal sitting in a chair.
Yeah.
Presence.
Mm-hmm.
Ben, what about old action stars? Like age-wise, you can do it when you're older. Why is that? You're a student of the film.
Well, I mean, it depends. It depends which movies you're looking at. If you're looking at, say, a Roger Moore Bond movie, which I love the most.
You too, yeah.
He does do he does a line in his safari suit of just turning slightly and then becoming a much younger person, and then doing his action and then switching back into Roger Moore. So I think there's that side of it. I think that there's an audience that enjoys seeing the kind of older man beating people up. I think that's a segment.
He's earned his rage.
Yeah,
maybe?
totally. And then behind
what a great
they're
way
like,
to put it.
Yeah, I'm cross too.
Yeah. I remember going to see the Limey, and the audience was just, when he comes out towards the camera and gives that little scream speech, everyone was like, yes, do whatever you want.
Terrence Stamp, man.
Love that.
Wow.
You guys both have reacted before to the Roger Moore thing. You genuinely love him as...
I do.
I loved him. He was my Bond. I came of age with him as my Bond.
Am I the only one that wants to shout out Lazenby?
I love Lazenby, but can I also shout out Living Daylights is still a phenomenal movie. Dalton, you know.
Yes.
They all had their moments, man. And the other thing about Lazenby is it was a romance. Like that was a romance.
Yep.
It was a weird Bond movie. But
That's right. And I mean, that's why when
and she is murdered by Kojak.
Spoiler alert.
Yeah.
whoops. But that's why when, Daniel Craig was doing stuff like Skyfall, that felt so emotional, so different, and that made me understand. Loving that movie made me understand why I'm a Lazenby girl.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, because it adds like that whole other nuance, and that's what makes these movies work, and what gets people cast in these roles, because it's not just punching.
No, it's not. No, and I couldn't do that, by the way. I couldn't do a beginning to end action film. I wouldn't say yes to the script, but also I just don't know if I could pull it off. It's got to have story, and it's got to have texture, and there's got to be a struggle, an interior struggle happening, or I just don't know what the point of me doing it is. There's some great people who can do that, and we all know their names, and they're good at it, and they do it well, and you don't need me.
We also like to watch you struggle.
Yes.
we struggle.
Yes. And I struggle in the fighting too. I
that's
struggle.
the point.
The character struggles, but then he gets in a fight, and he also is not. I mean, this guy is, always in jeopardy. He's always in danger, and he's always pushing himself.
And in this movie, as the sheriff kind of brought in temporarily and not really understanding,
he's actually trying desperately not to be involved.
Right.
He has a deep interior drive to not see what he's seeing, hear what he's hearing, know what he quietly knows, that something is f***ed up in this town of Normal, and he putting all that away in a drawer, like literally putting it away in drawers and going, I don't want to know.
Is it? Now, the two of you developed this together working on Nobody.
Derek wrote the story, and then the reason I have a story by credit is I said the first third of this is a suspense story that I really love. I love the humor and the tone, and can I help you with that? Can I pitch on that? And so most of what I earn that credit over is the first third of this film, where there's something hinky about this town. And I thought that was funny and intriguing.
I think the other thing too is the reason this relationship works is none of us are precious about anything. I'll use the phrase way too much. Iron sharpens iron, best idea wins. But you have to put all egos aside, which is easier to do independent because you don't have the money to support an ego. But you realize that the best idea is simply the best idea.
Right.
You know? And ultimately, we also look at the credits going, my name's already up there, who gives a shit, right? But it's why this partnership has worked, because you know how you hear an idea that is going to create 100 hours of work, but it makes it better, and you still get excited about it.
Yeah.
That's why we love doing what we do.
Because you know what the right thing is in your tummy all the time.
Yeah.
In whatever creative endeavor you're doing. And is there something that, Derek, that you fought for, that Ben, you guys were like, this is the thing. It's exactly what you're just talking about. It's gonna be hard, but we have to do that.
Well, Ben you said in the last conversation we had that the snowstorm was intimidating and also hard to figure out how to do it. But I don't know. It's not that you pushed back on doing it at all. But
a couple times he asked, "Do we have to have snow?" Does it
just be chilly?
Oh my God, it's a chill. It's polar vortex. Yeah.
There was an idea of like referring to it in dialogue rather than seeing it.
Oh my God, look at all that snow.
This is so exciting. I think it's an idea that happened very early on, and how I was when in our first conversations was pitched to me was that it would be as practical as possible. Now that goes from Bob's fighting, but it's also to the physical effects and to this storm and to flipping cars over or doing it, basically to avoid computers as much as we could. And that kind of informed the whole movie really, and that takes it back to this kind of love of 60s and 70s action cinema as well, and 80s action cinema, and just trying to make it as visceral as possible and real as possible for the audience.
It's one of the reasons that we're showing it on film. We're projecting it on film tonight.
Yes.
And in some other cities too.
Awesome.
And,
it's going to be a road show, and you're
yeah.
going to delight everyone.
Yeah, is
in,
we
on
want the
film.
audience to understand, and when you come see it in the theaters on April 17th, you will know why this film is a film. It's a movie that is happy to be a movie.
And that's no small feat. So, Marc, like, when do you know, like, this, the same thing I'm asking everybody else, when did you know we have to do it, we have to do it like this, we have to find the money to make this happen and show it to people on film?
I mean, it was at inception, Gray, when as Derek tells a story how when we were shooting Nobody, the first Nobody, and Bob was on the bus for that movie, and so we were on the second bus, right, following the first bus around Winnipeg, and Derek said, I said, what are you up to? And he pitched this, and from the moment we're just like, yes, like we're going to figure out how to get that movie put together. It took us 4 or 5 years to put it together, but we were really clear because it was such a beautiful next evolution of this thing we were doing with Bob in this action movie phase, and it came together quite naturally, and I'm just going to segue to say, then when we watched, because Bob and I don't come from the action world. Derek and Ben are the action people with their resumes. But when we came across Ben's canon, specifically Kill List and then Free Fire, in that sequence, seeing Kill List, character work, intentions, and genre, and then Free Fire was just a love letter for what we were trying to do. Every step of the way, we had tremendous confidence that there was a path forward with this.
Can you? This question is a little spoilery, but can you share like a favorite kill or fight scene?
I know what you're saying, and no.
Oh, come on.
But the fight scene.
Kitchen fight.
Yeah, the kitchen fight scene. is
But
the
also
one, yeah.
what happens in the restaurant while the kitchen fight's going on is so awesome.
And also, like, no one's ever going to walk into a hardware store the same way ever again.
That was a great one, but I actually loved making the kitchen fight. I love that one-on-one using implements from the set. And then when I watched it, of course, I love the restaurant, everything that's going on out there. Everything you're doing out there is great.
Gray, are you from the Midwest?
Close enough. Colorado.
Colorado.
Yeah.
All right, so you're gonna love the setting for this movie. Small town America.
Totally my jam. And as far as titles go, did you want to deliberately make this very close to Nobody because they are both N-words and 6 letters? How hard do you want to make my job?
I know exactly. Sonia, my wife, is my first line of defense. She's the editor, and the number of times she'll be like, "If your next movie with Bob is starting with an N, I'm out." Right? Because we slip back and forth. But it was just I don't know if we just had a working title, and then when we came up with Normal, the Normal Minnesota, it's like, that's obvious.
Well, there's a Normal, Illinois. Yeah. I grew up in Illinois, and I knew about it. It's a college town. I went to Southern. I went to Carbondale, but I certainly knew about Normal. And of course, a town named Normal is funny, and there's danger in being too close to Nobody, but honestly, I like it. I like everything about it. I like that any movie viewer knows, like, well, something's not normal in Normal.
Yeah, irony.
And that's good. It's a smile. This movie is a smile, and it's so right away in the title, there's a cheeky smile in it, and that's good because that's the tone of the movie. And additionally, I like celebrating the town of Normal, and I like people knowing it grew out of making the Nobody movies. And that's why we're here, is because I did those movies. I did a certain kind of fighting, which I do some in the movie Normal as well. And that's gonna be my kind of screen fighting.
We love it.
It's gonna be connected to those films, and I'm fine with that. I hope Ben is too.
Is there any kind of wild world where there's any kind of crossover between these universes?
What, you Normal and Nobody? Oh, I don't
In
know,
like a
because then I'd
wild
have
way?
to be
Sounds
myself.
expensive.
Then you're yourself.
Here's my favorite.
Double Impact
Love that
2.
producer brain.
No, but I
It's kind of wild, right?
They're different
Wow.
because Normal is even more of a grounded film, even in its fantasy elements, in its conceptual action sequences. Because, well, I mean, spoilers and all, but the Yakuza are a real thing. They actually exist.
They could be
so
watching us
we're
now.
getting closer to Earth as I make these movies.
I think too is when you look at Nobody, here you have a character that's running towards the fire and wanting the adrenaline of action, and in Normal, here you have a guy that just wants to do the job,
Right.
But
Like,
the
oh,
grand
God.
Barely wants to do the job.
This again.
But
like,
the grand irony
relatable.
is, if we can be so blessed to get a sequel or franchise, wherever he goes next, he's going to be like, okay, this time it's going to be nothing. And then, of course, it's a different kind of abnormal, right?
Right.
But I think his sentimentality is always like, God, like the classic, God damn it, I just want to do the job.
Right.
The Yakuza, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Because you are like a franchise machine, what can you say about anything involving new characters in development for John Wick? Because is it just like a constantly ongoing thing?
It is, and I'm actually, I'm no longer a part of that world simply because, when you look at the difference between Normal being independent and John Wick being studio,
So
at a
studio,
certain
yeah.
point, when I saw first John Wick, it was me alone in the kitchen, right? And then John Wick 2, because it's success, it's me in the kitchen with a bunch of people I didn't know. And then eventually I'm in the back alley having a cigarette and walking home. But here what I like
So then
about
you just start over and make new franchises.
That's
That's
what he
the
does.
thing.
By the way, still love everyone involved. God's blessings.
yeah, of
but
course.
here, what I loved about Normal has been, because of the way this was set up and designed, because it was made at the price point it was, should we be blessed to be able to do it again, it's not going to be to go from one price point and tripling the sequel. You want to go, cool, 12.5 to 20% more. Let's keep doing this thing. And we loved working together. On the last day, I remember walking by Ben's station, and he's like, hey, can we do this again? You know how rare that is? It's like on the last day of shooting, it's usually I hate
We never
you all.
see each other.
And instead,
That wasn't quite the last thing, though. It was eating some really horrific, salty.
Yeah.
Salt meat. I asked him, he was eating a sandwich, and I was like, what is that? He goes, I don't know, salt meat? But it was a joy, and that's the thing, too, is like, not to say it was easy. It was very difficult.
Yeah.
But like, it's okay to be up at 3:30 in the morning stressing about something and still loving it.
Right.
And
Yeah,
it got to be
special.
ours. So the only thing, looking back on it, that was the hardest thing is when something goes wrong, you look around for the studio and you're like, oh, I got to do something.
All right. Oh, it's me. It's all me. Well, I as a fan of yours from like Sightseers onwards, I'm excited that you have all hooked up together because it seems like it's a perfect marriage of story
it
and
was
action.
great.
And,
It was a great team here. We're very lucky to find Ben and have him join this thing and lead it.
I
mean,
couldn't believe it when I got the script with
had a
these
great
people's names on it. I was just like, yeah, I'm in. Whatever.
Right.
Let's have a look at it. Oh, yeah, it's good as well.
Do you have some ideas as to where this could go as well? Like, or is that because I know everybody? It's percolating. I know it's how this works.
somewhere colder than Winnipeg.
Yeah, somewhere further from my house. That's what I want. I want it to be at least 40
Queensland.
hours to get home.
We got relentless requests from Ben to travel more. That's all we wanted to
Sounds
do
like
was
it.
travel
Somewhere
more.
with a
Yeah.
really kind of an airport that doesn't work very well. I think that's.
Well, it's funny though. It's like when we were on set of the first one, we had dozens of conversations all the time where like Ben would go, where do you see the second one? And my thing is going, because of the job this character has, it's just going to be different.
Yeah.
Like you almost want the second one to be the desert, right? The third one to be the mountains, right?
Yep.
And
Swamp.
swamp. Oh my God. 95 degrees humidity. You like that?
Yeah, I can't believe I've been posted to the UK. How has this happened? This isn't normal.
This isn't normal.
I love that.
So I mean, I guess that thank you for this, and
Oh,
keep
thank
kicking
you.
ass.
All
This
right.
is truly-
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I say we play the hand that's been dealt to all of us. And maybe you get to keep the rest of your goddamn fingers.